Ben Sitati.
Oh, Mr. Mwako.
Elder Ben Sitati, how wonderful to see you after 5 years, is it?
It's got to be longer than 5. I think the last time we met was during my son's graduation party.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Good grief, it's been too long.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, I can see that God has been taking care of you.
Well, he's shown me favors for me, my family, and the farm. What about your family?
Very well. We are, in fact, more than well. God has done us a lot of favors. He has given us his blessings. He's been kind, gracious, and wonderful.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. What brings you here?
Well, I want to sue someone.
Please tell me about this suit. Whom are you suing?
The pastor of my church. Pastor Nariti has been with our church for 2 years. The committee members highly recommended him. After some time, he started living big. Big. He purchased a Prado, a big house, in cash. We got very uneasy about this. I took time to confirm this accusation. Everything was brought to my attention by my members. And as soon as I had confirmed the accusations, I moved very quickly to have him removed from office in order to pave way for an investigation.
How did that go?
Well, he got wind of our plan to oust him. And so he mobilized members of the church against the committee and I, and had us thrown out of the church. A church that I had helped to build.
How did they do that?
Well, we went to church one Sunday morning, and we found big guys, with tough-looking muscles at the gate, actually vetting members. And they prevented us from accessing the church. In effect, he had taken over control of the church by force.
I see.
And that's not all, Mr. Mwako. Soon thereafter, this man obtained fraudulently $150,000 from donors. He claimed that he was a pastor of a church for the blind.
A church for the blind? Please wait for me at the reception. Yes, come in. Oh, Elsie. Please meet my good old friend Ben Sitati. Ben, this is Miss Elsie Kamona.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Sitati.
Oh, drop the mister and just call me Ben. I'm not as uptight as your boss. See you at the reception.
Thanks. Elsie? Good, Elsie. What can I do for you?
Remember the advice you gave me on my custody hearing?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take you up on the offer, if it's still open. Could you represent me in the litigation?
Of course I will. Well, but can you afford me though?
Thank you, Mr. Mwako.
You're welcome. I'll get on with it as soon as I get back. I have to do some background check on this new brief of mine. I feel I should do this personally.
That's okay with me. That friendship means a lot to you.
Oh yes, it sure does.
Well, these are all the letters and communication we've had since the proceedings began.
Good. We'll meet and discuss about the case as soon as I get back. Right?
Okay, thanks.
Hey, this came in for you. I forgot to give it to you earlier.
Thanks.
Good morning, Joe.
Morning.
I'm off to make some preliminary inquiries on a church wrangle. I feel I should take charge of it right away. We'll have the meeting tomorrow. You free? I could do with some help.
Yeah, my diary is free. Why not? Sure.
Good. Thank you. Your Honor, due to the nature of this case, I would like you to consider setting an early date for the trial.
What nature is he referring to?
Your Honor, the Joyous Church is currently split. There are two committees involved in a wrangle. The old committee and a few loyal members have been kicked out. This situation only serves to give Pastor Nariti ample time and opportunity to raise all evidence of his embezzlement and unscrupulous management of the church's affairs. A speedy hearing of this matter...
All this is hearsay. It cannot be a trial founded on rumors and spiteful innuendo. It's simply a waste of time.
We have sufficient evidence to commence trial.
Mr. Mwako is referring to a videotape of some disgruntled members making wild allegations. This could have been done at any moment from any church. It proves nothing.
We have come across witnesses and documents which strengthen our case.
A speedy hearing will not work in your favor, Mr. Mwako. I think you should take more time to conduct and collect adequate evidence and go through the usual pre-trial proceedings.
Your Honor, the plaintiff is ready and willing to take that risk.
Oh. Well, okay. Let's see what we can do about that. Well, you seem to be in luck. We have a few days. I hereby set this hearing for the 21st of this month, if that's okay with you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, I really hope you know what you're doing. You have very few days to the beginning of this case.
I am ready.
Very well. We'll see both of you on that day.
The trial has been set for the 21st. It's all systems go. Get your pointsmen ready to meet me in the next 30 minutes. Right.
Ushindi tutashinda, kwa imani ushindi tutashinda, kwa imani tutashinda, kwa imani yote yawezekana, kwa imani.
All rise.
In the matter of the trustees of Joya's Church versus Pastor Nariti, are both the plaintiff and defendant present?
Yes, Your Honor.
We are, my lord.
Good. Then can we have your opening statements?
Pastor Noriti was elected by the Joyous Church Committee to be the leader, the shepherd, the confidant, the counselor, the advisor, the guide, the mentor of every member and non-member of the church. He was meant to give them spiritual nourishment. This same pastor who was entrusted with this huge godly responsibility turned against his flock. We shall, in the course of these proceedings, show how he used the very people who had confidence in him to acquire his brand new Toyota Prado V8. He took advantage of the trust they had in him to acquire a 5-bedroom house in Muthaiga. He further exploited the confidence they had in him as a pastor to acquire a 20-acre piece of land in Rongai. The list is painful to go through. The congregation, loyal members of the church, are here today to put the record straight, to stop this impostor from bleeding the church dry and destroying the confidence they have in the church as an institution, a refuge, and most importantly, a place of worship. They are here to set the record straight.
Redeem the church, restoring faith, imposter? The plaintiffs are merely a minority splinter group opposed to the current pastor. Where are the other church members? Why aren't they up in arms like this splinter group? This is a case revolving around raw malice and petty jealousies. It's a fight for control of the church's resources and nothing else. As we proceed with this trial, I'd like you to ask, where are the other church members? Ask yourselves if this is a case based on green-eyed committee members. The answers, my lord, will give us the verdict.
So much for avoiding me.
Avoiding you? Come on, I haven't seen you in a while. Why would I do that? Come on, give me a hug. Right. Maybe not today. Hey, Liz, hi. How about a hug?
I don't think so.
All right. All right, ladies.
Elder Stati, please tell the court how long you've been a member of the Nairobi Joyous Church.
Since its inception 7 years ago.
Since its inception. Could you briefly give an account of your association to the level of being an elder in the church?
I am one of the founders of the church. I was then treasurer to the church committee. We, that is I and other members who are now elders, saw the necessity of having a church near our neighborhood. The Word of God says that the love, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. We saw the need of having a place where our children could turn to in times of need, where they could grow up to become God-fearing and responsible citizens of this country.
How is the election of a pastor conducted?
We headhunt for pastors. The committee members headhunt for viable members and then bring the names to us for vetting.
Is that the same way Pastor Nariti was elected?
Exactly the same way. At the time we elected him, his credentials and his track record were impeccable. His youthful and vibrant character was exactly what we needed to connect with the youth in the church.
Why then do you want him out of the church?
He is embezzling church funds for his own personal use.
Go on.
A concerned member of the church told me, they drew my attention to this. He is also the treasurer and the accountant of a committee that I chair.
Daniel Werenge.
Daniel Warenge, yes, Daniel Warenge. He noticed that Nariti's wife was driving around in an expensive Prado. It aroused my curiosity, and I started an investigation. I found out that Pastor had bought this car 7 months after he was recruited in this church.
Why is the buying of a car such a big deal?
Well, he is on a salary of 70,000 shillings per month and 50,000 shillings at his previous church. He doesn't own business or assets. There is no way he could afford a brand new Prado. And by the way, he also acquired a house, a brand new house, 5-bedroomed house, worth 14 million shillings.
Your Honor, I wish to submit to the court exhibits 1 and 2, being certified copies of the logbook for the Toyota Prado V8 and the title of the house. Please note that both items are registered in the names of Pastor Nariti's wife. I have also included a marriage certificate to confirm their relationship.
My lord, if the assets are in the name of Mrs. Nariti, it simply confirms that she owns them, and not Pastor Nariti. She earns 140,000 shillings a month, thus can well afford a bank facility to cater for such an investment.
Your Honor, both the car and the house were bought in cash.
From Mrs. Nariti's account.
Well, the court cannot accept the exhibits without some clear connection being established at this point.
Thank you, my lord.
And what is this?
The next exhibit, which demonstrates the connection. Bank statement for Pastor Nariti and Mrs. Nariti. Please note that both span the period from when Pastor Nariti was elected to be the pastor of Nairobi Joy Church. Your Honor, kindly look at the highlighted entries. 1 week before the car was purchased by Mrs. Nariti, 3 months before the house was purchased, there were 3 transfers from Pastor Nariti's account to Mrs. Nariti's account in the amounts of 7 million, 5.5 million, and 2.3 million. The question we should ask at the moment is, how did Pastor Nariti acquire 18.6 million within a year, while at the same time he was on a net salary of 840,000 shillings in the same year?
Well, in light of that, the court accepts these exhibits.
Much obliged to you, Your Honor. Elder Sitati, please explain to the court the course of action you took after you discovered the fraud.
Well, I called a meeting and tabled my findings. We all decided to have him fired. we also decided to bring in another pastor to replace Pastor Nariti. But on the Sunday when I was supposed to make this announcement in the church, we were locked out.
Please explain to the court how you were locked out.
Pastor Nariti hired strong, muscular men to keep us from entering the compound. He got wind that we were planning to have him investigated and went around convincing the members that I was envious of him and that I wanted him thrown out of the church. And so, he organized a new committee to have me and my people excommunicated from the church.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Hey, you okay?
She's talking me now, eh?
But you're avoiding me. Every other time you want to walk out of the office, help Mwako with his cases, anything to keep you away from me.
You make it seem as if I'm scared of you.
I think you are. Ever since I refused to go ahead with the abortion, you steer clear away from me.
There's no reason for me to be on your way.
Shut it. I meant it when I said I'll tell your wife about us and the pregnancy and the affair. But somehow you seem to have yourself convinced that I'll crack under your cold attitude and terminate the pregnancy. I had that.
Have you taken care of it?
Elder Sitati, you just told these courts that you were stopped from entering the church by some tough guys hired by Pastor Nariti.
Yes.
This is while normal church service was going on.
Yes.
You also told us that you are one of the founders of the church.
Yes, I am a founder member.
Being founder and oldest member, why didn't the congregation come to your rescue?
I beg your pardon?
You're a founder and elder. That means that most, if not all, of the members know you. Probably better than the new pastor who's been there for just 1 year. Here's a situation where the very people who know you better than the pastor watched you being humiliated and disrespected without any of them coming to your rescue. Why is that so?
He had marshaled all of them against me.
The Joyous Church has about 3,000 members. Are you trying to say that Pastor Nariti managed to marshal all 3,000 against you?
Objection, that is badgering the witness.
This is a question that the court needs to hear the answer to.
That is a question best put to the members.
Enough!
My lord, it's interesting to note that the entire congregation did nothing to assist Elder Sitati. Neither did they back his accusations of fraud and embezzlement. They're just a bunch of old, grumpy committee members.
That is totally unnecessary.
I said enough. I've had it. Sit down, Mr. Mwako. Do you have any further questions for this witness?
Actually, more of a comment.
Then save that for your closing. We will hear from the next witness after a 30-minute recess.
You're not bothered, are you?
What do you want from me?
I want you to own up to your responsibility.
But you already know my stand.
Can't you pretend that at least you care?
Pretense is not part of my forte.
Says the lawyer who puts up a show every time he goes on court.
Hey, I give it as it is, and I expect anyone who sleeps with me to take it as it is.
Cold bastard!
Please state your name and association with the Joyous Church for the record.
I'm Daniel Warenge, treasurer and the accountant of the church, a member of the committee which was unfairly kicked off the church.
Very well. What is your role as the treasurer and accountant?
I work for the committee and the church. I also pay the bills and salaries. I also look at the viability of projects.
Like a project manager?
Exactly.
You're the one who saw Mrs. Nariti driving a Prado and alerted Elder Sitati?
Yes. At first, I thought it was nothing until I had to look at the church accounts.
What did you discover?
I noticed that there are some days, the offertory and the tithes, they are not banked in a regular account, church account.
Where was the money being deposited?
After some investigations, we found that they have been deposited in another account where the Pastor Nariti is a signatory. In fact, he's working a cahoot with the head deacon.
In other words, they were stealing the money and depositing it in another account.
Objection, my lord.
I have to sustain that one.
I withdraw the statement.
Okay, then carry on.
What other details did your investigation reveal?
I also have an archived communication from my computer hard drive between Pastor Nariti and the World Association of the Blind. Our congregation was deep in prayers, and he said that he has a church. He's running a church in Kenya, which is a blind Christian church, and he needs some funds.
How did he get the video?
I vividly recall the time the video was taken.
What happened?
It was after sermon, a very powerful sermon, a very moving sermon, where Pastor Nariti leads us in prayers and suggests that we should all shut our eyes closed completely so that we can see our Lord. Later, I came to realize that I saw myself in a video labeled The Blind Christian.
Are you aware whether he received any funds?
Yes, $250,000 or something of what I can take of it.
Are you aware whether the funds were used for church's projects or affairs?
He deposited $3,000 in the church account and said this is contribution towards to build the church toilets.
What happened to the rest of the money?
No one knows, but we can all guess where it went.
Objection, my lord, surely.
Why didn't you object at the question?
I was going to, my lord.
Well, next time, do it at the right time.
Much obliged, my lord.
Your Honor, can I go on?
Please do go on, Mr. Mwako.
Much obliged. Your Honor, these are the archived emails that prove communication between the World Council of the Blind and the supposed Church of the Blind in Nairobi, Kenya. I wish to submit that to the court as Exhibit 3.
Very well, the exhibits will be marked accordingly.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Daniel, you mentioned that Pastor Nariti had opened a separate account where he deposited the offertory on alternating weeks or days.
Yes.
You also testified that he had received a total sum of $250,000 in donor funds, but only deposited an equivalent of $3,000 for the development of toilets.
Yes.
The difference was then put in another account where he deposited the offertory.
Yes, that's true.
What is the number of this other account?
Sorry?
You've been able to provide the archived emails and Pastor and Mrs. Nariti's personal bank statements to prove your accusations, right?
Yes.
Where is the bank statement and number of this other account where the money was supposedly embezzled through?
I really don't.
General Warenge, do you know where the 18.6 million in Pastor Nariti's account came from?
Yes, from the church.
But you can't prove it, can you? I just asked you for the statement and number, and you have no idea.
Where else could he have gotten all this money from within a year? It's obviously from the church.
Prove it. Nothing further, my lord.
Nakwambia mimi akosi barua wewe. Elsie. Kila siku hata kuna cheki hapa naona. Haitauma. Itauma.
Renee, are you okay?
I'm not alright.
Ana Rene. Nini mbaya? Nani amekufa?
I am so sorry.
No one is dead.
Pole. Nafikiria mtu nini basi kama sio kifo?
Just tell Mwako that I've had to attend to a family emergency. Please.
Aya, family emergency tena? Mamako ni mgonjwa? Amezidiwa?
Please do that for me.
Okay, no problem.
The defense calls Pastor Innocent Nariti to the stand.
This is a court of law, and if I see any of this kind of behavior, I'll hold you in contempt and have you locked up. Do you get me?
What is your religion?
I'm a Christian.
Place your right hand on the Bible and lift up your left hand. Do you swear by the Almighty God to tell the truth in matters relating to this case? The truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I will. So help me God.
Thank you.
Pastor Nariti.
Yes.
You're a distinguished pastor with accomplishments many pastors take decades to acquire.
All I do is serve the Lord and His people.
You've been involved in youth development, fighting drugs, HIV and AIDS, early pregnancies in teens. Basically, you've devoted your entire life to helping the youth.
Again, all I do is the will of God. It is my calling.
The Joyous Church wanted a pastor of your caliber to lead the youth. That's why you joined them.
Mm-hmm.
How have you fared so far?
The youth members have more than doubled. We have an average of 10 new members per week. The church is now a family. We work as one unit.
10 new members a week. The members doubled. That means the offering doubled as well?
Yes, that's true. However, the money has been used in development projects for the church.
You have heard the plaintiff's allegations about the money that supposedly disappeared on some Sundays. What's your response to this?
I do not handle money. Never have. There is a head deacon who collects all the money and banks it for the church.
So you don't know if the money was banked or not?
No, I wouldn't. After the money has been banked, it falls under the docket of the accountant, where again, I'm not involved.
There's no time you handle the tithes or offering?
No.
The 18.6 million. Could you please explain to this court where it came from?
They were gifts. I do not mean to brag. I have rich friends, millionaires. People who have helped save their marriages, for instance, helped their children quit drugs. People in dire family situations I've helped. Some have been grateful enough to give me a few of their millions or thousands just to say thank you.
Tell me, did you organize for the old committee members to be kicked out?
No, I had no idea what was going on. On that Sunday, they were kicked out. I got a call from Conrad Nono, an active member of the church. He informed me that he had formed a new committee and wanted the old members out because they were stealing from the church. They were withdrawing church funds for personal use.
The old members are the ones who are stealing.
That was what I was informed. I advised Conrad to carry out thorough investigations before accusing them. I assumed he listened to me. Only later after the sermon, I heard that Elder Sitati was locked out. It was sad, so sad. While I planned reconciliation and intervention, I was served with this suit. It is heartbreaking when men of God fail to agree and turn to man-made institutions for help, and not the Lord our God.
Heartbreaking indeed. Nothing further, my lord.
How many millionaire friends do you know? 2, 3, 6, 10, 12, 13?
I really don't know. I don't keep track of people I serve or a record of who is a millionaire.
You don't keep track of people you serve, yet you have enough rich friends who give you 18.6 million in gifts in a year. I think I'm in the wrong profession. I should have studied theology and math psychology.
Unlike you lawyers, mine is a calling, not a profession.
Indeed. Looking at your bank statement, it seems that your millionaire friends waited until you became pastor of Nairobi Joyous Church. And then they deposited lots of money into your bank account. That's when the money started coming in.
It is God who touched their hearts. The time and the amount is not in my control. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1 says, "To everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under heaven. His timing is perfect."
Indeed, what can I say? God has impeccable sense of timing. He waits until Pastor Nariti is elected, the pastor of Nairobi Jewish Church. Then he sends all his millionaire friends straight to his bank. No further questions, my lord.
Ajo, mambo.
Mimi niko busy bwana.
Ajo, you are busy wakati watu wamepiga nduru ofisi nzima. Kwani hukusikia?
Usikia nini?
Si Rene bwana. Rene amepiga nduru. Nakwambia nduru kweli kweli bwana. Lakini kisha alishia home. Alisema hii ni mambo ya family emergency.
Anapiga nduru kwa nini?
Joe, the way you're looking and behaving, Aki, you're very suspicious. Very suspicious.
Mimi sikuelewi bwana.
Kwani ulifanya nini Rene? Ulifanya nini?
Ambrose, whenever a woman screams here, it's all about Joe. It's my fault.
Lakini sana sana ni wewe. Ni wewe tu. Hata the other intern nakumbuka jina lake tu nani huyu? Patricia. Yes, Patricia. You did something to her. Kata.
Sikuelewi, nenda zako.
I can smell a rat. Aki ni wewe tu.
Ambrose.
Nimejua ni wewe.
Ambrose, unajua pale mlango huko. Nenda.
Ni wewe tu babu. Nimekujua. Uruke juu, uruke chini, ni wewe tu.
Conrad Nono, you're the one who organized for Elder Sitati and his gang to be kicked out.
Correct.
You're also the one who informed Pastor Nariti of the missing money.
Yes.
Please tell this court how you discovered that Elder Sitati was stealing money from the church.
Objection. My client is not on trial here.
Both sides are accusing each other of stealing, my lord. It's only fair that we hear from both sides.
I'll allow it.
Go on.
My discovery was by sheer accident. I had a meeting with Elder Sitati that day. He wasn't in, so I allowed myself into his office as always. While I was looking for a magazine or book to read to keep me busy, as I wait for Elder Sitati, I came across church's account prepared by Daniel Warenge. Since it was also my church, I decided to go through it.
That's when you discovered the fraud.
Yes.
Did you approach Elder Sitati concerning the accounts?
I was so infuriated. I left in search of Elder Sitati in church offices. I found him at Daniel Warenge's office, where they were having a meeting discussing church account. That's when I knew the two of them were working together.
Is that when you installed the new committee?
Yes, we are allowed to do that under the constitution of the church, and I did exactly that. Plus, made sure they had no access to their offices so that they may not cover their tracks. So I kicked them out just like they deserved.
Thank you.
You saw the accounts and realized someone was stealing from the church.
Yes.
Why did you automatically think it was LSC?
He is one of the signatories of the account.
How many signatures would be required for the church's funds to be withdrawn from the account?
2.
Is one of them that of Daniel Warenge?
No.
Daniel Warenge would be of no use to LSC if he were to carry out the fraud, because he's not a signatory. So how is it that they were working together? So we can safely assume that you made a wrong judgment by insinuating that Elder Sitati was the one stealing from the church.
Objection.
It might as well have been your beloved Pastor Nariti.
Objection.
Richard Mwako.
One more question.
Yes.
Are you aware that your church was also known as the Church of the Blind? Yes or no?
I don't know.
I have heard all the testimonies, and I am of a feeling that there's no need for any closing arguments. Not that you will tell me anything different. I will be rendering my judgment tomorrow at 11 a.m. This court is hereby adjourned.
All rise.
What just happened?
He's decided there's no closing statements.
Is that good or bad?
That means there's no tangible evidence against you. So, there's no case. I guess we're good.
Good.
From the look on your face, I can tell you forgot to call Paul's advocate.
Forget is not the right term. Being tied up all day is.
How was the case?
Could go either way.
Don't beat yourself up. It happens.
And not to me. I like to be sure. Now that you're here, we might as well give them a call. We might find them in the office. How's court today?
Splendid.
I like that. You're on a winning streak. Hello? Can I speak to Mrs. Nakali? Oh, she's in. Lucky me. Richard Mwako. Mrs. Nakali, how are you? Great. Could be better. Now, there's a matter you're handling. Elsie Kamona. I'm representing her. Can we set up a meeting? No, next week is not good enough for me. How about a Wednesday, 2 weeks from now? Great. Will do. Well, the case is off you. You can go have fun.
Thank you.
I'll be burning the midnight oil today.
Don't work too hard.
I'll try not to.
I'll see you in the morning.
In the matter of trustees of Joya's Church versus Pastor Nariti, though it's not so clear which faction is the church in this case, I have keenly reviewed the oral evidence tendered in this case by both parties and also taken into consideration the documentary evidence. It is very clear that Joya's Church is in a very sticky, vexing situation, and thorough investigation into this matter ought to be done. The financing for the assets acquired by Pastor Nariti and his wife within the short period he has been at Joya's Church is quite questionable. No clear sources of income to account for the huge purchases was identified. In light of the above, I order for the reinstatement of the old committee who, pursuant to the church's constitution, is to conduct fresh elections for a pastor. In the interim period, the church accounts shall be frozen till the said election. We are hereby adjourned.
Amen. All right. Congratulations.